And if I told you that this entire video was inspired by a tweet with a photo of Jimmy Fallon in bed that reads, "Stop, baby, this is so soft," then what? Then what? What are we gonna do about it, huh? You know that feeling when the air gets crisp, the leaves start to turn, you're finally wearing oversized sweaters again. Fall is my favorite time of year. That right there is my black cat. My favorite Halloween decoration that I have year round. You know what makes fall even better? Knowing that you've got MeUndies on underneath. Their micromodal fabric is like a warm hug. Lightweight, breathable, and perfect for layering season. Now let's get into the real treat. MeUndies has a cut for every butt with over 20 different styles and over 100 colors and prints. And MeUndies super soft, signature, breathable fabric, stretchy, cozy, really perfect for any season, especially the transition from summer into fall. Whether you're going on a hike, or you're wearing a flannel and lounging all day. And if you want even more comfort, try the Breathe line, designed with moisture wicking and anti-odor tech to keep you fresh throughout your fall workouts, or just a long day of pumpkin picking. I love that they use sustainably sourced materials and work with partners who care for their workers. And if you're not happy with your first pair of undies, it's on MeUndies, because they have a problem-free philosophy. With over 30 million pairs sold and 90,000 five-star reviews, MeUndies are an essential must-have for every season, for every drawer. As soon as my pair come out of the wash, I am wearing them. I am just in a constant rotation of my MeUndies. And right now, as a viewer, you can get cozy and spooky for less with deals up to 50% off at MeUndies.com/Nicole and just enter promo code Nicole. That's MeUndies.com/Nicole with promo code Nicole for up to 50% off. MeUndies, comfort that is made for every season. Regardless of what your opinions are on Jimmy Fallon, it's not a crazy thing to say that Jimmy Fallon was an absolute hunk, especially in his SNL days. That's not controversial. What we're not going to do now is infantilize present day Jimmy Fallon. I understand what a meme is. I understand what a joke is. I also understand that Stan Twitter are some of the funniest people alive. However, you guys don't get a pass on this one. Most of the video essays that I do where I critique something in pop culture, sorry, my cat's fighting the rug. Yeah, get him. Yeah, get him. Yeah, Clemmy. Most of the time, if I make a video essay talking about something that's happening in the media, pop culture, critiquing it, it's not because I love scolding people, although I really do love doing that, but because I myself am at fault for a lot of these things and I see myself in a lot of these people, and so I want to scold them. I'm kidding. But I notice this issue within myself first, and then that's when I notice it in others. And so as soon as I caught myself infantilizing men when I'm supposed to be the coolest, best, misandrous YouTuber on the YouTube, I was like, oh shit, I need to reevaluate what I'm doing. And that's a part of like decentering men from your life, right? A lot of us are trying to do that, right? We're still trying to do that, right? I hope that we're still trying to do that in 2025. Okay. Hey guys, anybody who has been converted into conservatism, we miss you. We miss you so bad. Anyway, think of some of your favorite male celebrities, or think of some of the most popular male celebrities, and now think of their presence on Stan Twitter, basically how they are seen. I would say a good percentage are heavily infantilized by their fan base. I'm talking about coddled, infantilized, that's baby boy, even though that is a man who is about to enter the age where he has to get regular prostate cancer screenings. However, I do think that we're creeping into a time where stan culture has taken it too far. And I think whether we intend for it to or not, I do think this internal misogyny that we're playing with now can have long-lasting effects for our futures. Stay with me, okay? I don't want people to be like, you're the friend that's too fucking woke. Listen to me! Male celebrities are some of the most powerful men in the world. Like, hey, what the fuck are we doing calling Henry Cavill a small bean? 21 Pilots fans, I see you. I see you all. We baby girlify these celebrities. I'm looking at me with Joe Keery, okay? I baby girl that man still, and I'm working on unpacking that. I'm like, oh my God, that's baby girl. Girl, that's a grown man that you were too afraid of confronting in person. Confronting is not the right word. I just wanted to meet him. But God, did it feel like a confrontation. Okay. Hi, Joe. And of course, the half-jokingly way that we all say, we need to protect this celebrity at all costs. We do see this as infantilization, but according to the Cambridge Dictionary, to infantilize is to treat someone as if that person were a child, with the result that they start behaving like one. And this definition encapsulates the main issue with infantilization. It gives so many male celebrities a free pass to behave badly, and not like, ooh, badly, but like, hey, what the fuck are we doing? Because after all, boys will be boys, right? Like, oh my God, it's so okay that Julian Casablancas dates women less than half of his age after he just left his wife and kids, because That's baby boy. That's my small bean. The call is coming from inside the house. At its core, infantilization is driven by the misogynistic values that we adhere to every day in our lives. But how do these values actually manifest? How is this impactful to our everyday lives and outside of Stan Twitter? And how does this relate to infantilizing celebrities? Let's talk about it. Okay, so according to dictionary.com, boys will be boys comes from a Latin proverb that roughly translates into children, boys, are children, boys, and do childish things. The phrase is now commonly used to defend men who cross boundaries and is inherently infantilizing. Psychology Today even says using gendered language and expressions like boys will be boys in schools actually teaches young people to make these stereotypes. So many boys that I grew up with knew that they could be little fucking assholes because of the language that was used around us. And when I had my very first male teacher in the 4th grade, I feel like it only got worse because this teacher also enabled the ideology of boys will be boys, more so than my teachers who were women. That's not to say that I didn't ever hear boys will be boys coming out of their mouths, because I definitely did. Like, oh my God, it's so fine that this kid just like shoved you down the staircase like he has a crush on you. Like, what are you gonna do? You know, oh my God, you're just so pretty, Nicole. But it also leads to an unconscious bias and usually oversimplifies the real problem, whether that be a child's environment, psychological issues, and it limits the expression of children. Saying boys will be boys teaches children, not just boys, that there are certain behaviors that are masculine and exclusive to boys only. In the 1996 case, Nabozny versus Podlesny, where a child was beaten up for being gay, the principal went on the stand and said as a defense, boys will be boys. This just goes to show how deeply embedded this has been in our society. And of course, we like to think like, oh, well, that was back in the 90s. This ideology and this rhetoric is still being pushed onto kids still to this day. In a 2014 piece for The Guardian, Bronwyn says there's a tiny kernel of truth to the statement, but the sentiment is too often used to normalize men being violent, aggressive, predatory, and sexist. Us women are routinely told that we just need to accept that. It's both a distortion of the masculine experience and a subversion of the female one. It's our natural human impulse to explain away ugliness. Confront the fact that we are culturally saturated with historical misogyny is a complex and overwhelming problem to solve. We make excuses for it because the alternative seems unachievable. But sexism is no excuse for sexism. Men are not inherently violent, degrading, and predatory, and women are not inherently victims. We need to move beyond the oversimplification of these constructs. The article also cites a 2014 case that found there was substantial evidence of sexism in a Montana County's attorney's office, which led to the prosecutors dropping rape cases. One mother asked the county attorney why her daughter's rapist only got 2 years of community service, to which the attorney replied, boys will be boys. And Dua Lipa, our fave, encapsulates the consequences of this statement for women in her song called, you guessed it, Boys Will Be Boys. The lyrics, it's second nature to walk home before the sun goes down and put your keys between your knuckles when there's boys around. Isn't it funny how we laugh it off to hide our fear? There's nothing funny here. Sick intuition that they taught us so we won't freak out. We hide our figures doing anything to shut them out. We smile a way to ease the tension so it doesn't go south, but there's nothing funny now. The phrase boys will be boys suggests that certain behaviors are just inherent and in a sense inevitable, so we might as well just accept it. The obvious solution to this would be to, I don't know, like stop these behaviors before they happen, or hopefully just as soon as possible. But I'm sure most women listening to this video may relate, and as in Dua Lipa's song shows, the responsibility is then put on the woman to protect ourselves. If something bad does happen, it's not on the fault of the man who performed the action. Instead, it's the woman's fault for not doing enough to prevent it. Oh, my favorite, let's talk about weaponizing competence. Fuck! You might know what weaponizing competence means because a lot of people now think that is therapy speak. It's not. It's a real thing, okay? You may have learned it from your therapist, which honestly, thank God. Some of you need to be told that you're using weaponizing competence. As Summer Tahill says, it is only the cultural narrative that men are somehow inherently less able to learn how to take care of children or take care of a household. This is deliberate because it lets them off the hook from having to do those things. We have a term for this. It is called weaponized incompetence. You might hear this more so associated with like household chores or like TikTok videos of women sending their husbands out to go to the grocery store and buy things from their grocery list. And the man is just too dumb. He's too fucking stupid. And the butter that she wants just isn't there. So he's gonna get fucking sour cream.
Your husband knows how to find onions. He knows what onions look like. He's texting you to punish you.
That's a very light example, but all of this does add up. There's plenty of amazing videos about weaponized incompetence. I can't watch them right now because it will get me too heated, but growing up with a single mother and growing up as an only child, there was not room for weaponized incompetence, okay? But in many cultures as well as households, it is so normalized to allow men to be dumb because it's like, well, fuck, I mean, like, they really can't do better than what they have with the one brain cell that they're born with, you know? But there is 2023 research showing that women still do more than men with household chores. I don't think that we needed a research article to tell us that. Claudio Delano, a licensed family therapist, says weaponized incompetence can create an imbalance in the relationship because one partner is overfunctioning and the other is underfunctioning. According to experts on Very Well Health, there are 4 main reasons men practice weaponized incompetence: to shrink responsibility, to avoid discomfort, seek attention, and maintain control. This is exemplified on a comment on Paige Turner's recent TikTok, which says,
"I'll just do it wrong on purpose, because if I do it right, then you don't even notice I did it. I'll then point out that I used to do it right, but since it wasn't noticed, I'll now do it slightly wrong forevermore." Men are not dumb, right? They do this intentionally. This is very tactical. They're using this as a tool to get out of doing things in their house that they don't want to have to do. And they do it in a way that's essentially kind of like gaslighting you to think that you're a little bit crazy because is it really that hard? Are my standards that high? No, they're not.
Given that gaslighting and manipulation is part of weaponized incompetence, some argue that it is in fact abusive. One Redditor says, in short, weaponized incompetence leads to wife acting as mom to husband, leads to her having to do everything to keep life going, leads to her getting burnt out and having a mental health crisis and either getting branded as a psychotic bitch or turning to drugs or alcohol to deal with the stress. And Lord knows these men wouldn't even put in the effort to give her an orgasm to help with the stress. Weaponized incompetence in essence is basically men taking advantage of the infantilization that they experience. And it relies on women's continual infantilization of them, which is why I feel so strongly about not infantilizing men. Are you keeping up with me? I hope to God you're keeping up with me. Let's talk about one of the most infantilized male celebrities that I can think of, Kanye West. When Kanye West started harassing Kim Kardashian and her boyfriend at the time, Pete Davidson, in 2022, people online treated it as a joke, even though he fully made a threat towards Pete Davidson in a music video, or claimed that Kim was to blame for it all. Example, like whole Reddit posts with receipts of Kim provoking Kanye. That's my least favorite fucking word. Provoking. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. At the same time, when Kanye West then went on to make anti-Semitic comments that he's still making to this day, hello, Kim faced a lot of pressure to release a statement to the public, even though she is not married to him still, which she did release a statement. But some users argued that this response was insufficient. It's arguable that Kanye West having bipolar disorder is part of the reason why he is infantilized, because he is seen and considered as someone who cannot take care of themselves, take responsibility for themselves. And instead, fans will put the pressure on Kim Kardashian to soothe fans' concerns and defend him like she did after a public meltdown in 2020. This is also not me defending Kim Kardashian in any way. Don't get it twisted. However, I can still talk about the misogyny shown whether I like the person or not. Glamour argues we need to progress past hounding women like Kim Kardashian for the mistakes of the men they associate with for the sake of us all. Having these expectations of women not only leads to disingenuous statements and apologies, but it also shifts accountability and attention away from the men who are actually at fault. Instead of eagerly awaiting word from the wife, girlfriend, or ex of a famous man who has done a terrible thing, we should look to fixing the cultural landscape that affords men the audacity to be so brazenly disgraceful in the first place. Julia Fox even mentioned how she herself felt that she was responsible for protecting Kim Kardashian from Kanye West, and she thought that she could basically like fix him by dating him, which then did not work. She was like, well, how do we get Kanye West to leave Kim alone? This is now my responsibility. John Mulaney and Olivia Munn are another example of this. People were so insanely parasocial about John Mulaney's breakup with Anna Marie Tendler because it basically ruined this image that they had of him being this baby girlified wife guy. And wife guys, we all know wife guys are the best, right? Like guys who love their wife and can't stop talking about how much they love their wife until they stop loving their wife. A lot of this backlash was then shifted on Olivia Munn because if you didn't know, Olivia Munn ended up having a baby with John Mulaney too now, despite the fact that it was John Mulaney who was married and Olivia Munn didn't get pregnant by herself. So why was all of this getting blamed onto her? In his GQ profile, Mulaney said that he did try to explain to everyone that he wasn't this infantilized, squeaky clean person, noting, I very much try to tell everyone. What I said is that I look harmless. And one user on Twitter says, this John Mulaney situation is the direct result of the small beanification of 40-year-old male comedians. Meanwhile, in an interview with the LA Times, times Olivia Munn said they think they know our relationship so well when in reality they don't. There's no way anyone could know what any of his relationships were or what our relationship is. She says that netizens tend to ignore really specific public signs and actions that completely contradict the false narrative. For whatever reason, it's easier to blame me. I wonder what it is. I really wonder what it is. What's the one thing about Olivia Munn that makes her easier to blame than John? God. She's a woman! And one of the biggest beneficiaries of infantilization, the small beatification of Jack Sparrow and Willy Wonka, Johnny Depp. People still refer to him as baby girl on TikTok to this day. He's still winning awards, still getting acting jobs, albeit as an animated puffin, but still. His ex-wife Amber Heard had to literally flee the country to escape the abuse of his fans and the extensive smear campaign that was orchestrated by Johnny Depp's team. I'm sure a lot of us remember the spectacle of the entire defamation trial, which was largely documented on TikTok, which for someone like me who didn't know anything about the case and was getting all of my information from TikTok at the time, there was a time I too sided with Johnny Depp and I was like, oh my God, Amber Heard's a big fucking bitch, because I was like, yes, of course, men can get abused too. Fans relentlessly hounded Amber Heard, nicknaming her Amber Turd, and even getting their cats involved in a viral sound mocking her testimony.
And I was walking out of the bedroom, slapped me across the face. I turned to look at him and I said, Johnny, you hit me. You just hit me.
Even when clear evidence emerged that Depp was violent against Amber Heard, fans still insisted that he was not at fault. He was merely exhibiting reactive abuse or traits of ADHD. In an NBC interview, Amber Heard said, I don't care what one thinks about me or what judgments you want to make about what happened in the privacy of my own home and my marriage behind closed doors. I don't presume the average person should know those things, so I don't take it personally. But even somebody who is sure I'm deserving of all this hate and vitriol, even if you think that I'm lying, you still couldn't look me in the eye and tell me that you think on social media there's been a fair representation. You cannot tell me that you think that this has been fair. You may have heard the term before, we need to protect blank at all costs. Now, if you're talking about me, we need to protect Nicole Rafiee at all costs. Yes, I agree. Oh my God, yes. The Urban Dictionary definition is the term protect him at all costs, or more commonly protect this man at all costs, is a way of expressing that someone is a blessing and makes the world a better place in some way. The call for protection emphasizes that a quality is rare enough to need active support in the first place and valuable enough to make the protection worthwhile. Many examples of we need to protect him at all costs. Jimmy Fallon, yes. Oh my God, small bean. Small baby girl, Henry Cavill, Harry Styles, Joseph Quinn, and Timothy Chalamet. But why is it on us to protect these men? And why is it so often men that need this protecting? What have these men been in danger that we need to protect them? And what it tends to be is a lot of female fans casting themselves into this hypothetical caregiver role, feeling basically maternal towards these full-ass grown men, which then becomes internalized misogyny. One of the biggest examples of celebrities that we see ourselves needing to protect is Brendan Fraser, the actor who rose to fame after appearing in films like The Mummy, George of the Jungle, basically struggled in Hollywood after experiencing sexual assault before telling his story and making a comeback in 2022's The Whale. After sharing his story and the publicly, rightfully so, supporting him, and him also being an incredible actor, it wasn't long until he started to get infantilized. Let's look up Brendan Fraser's age. Oh yeah, that's a 56-year-old man. Brendan Fraser is such a precious human being. All smiles. This TikTok of him being a cute bean for 60 seconds straight. Like, yeah, that's a beautiful fucking man. And that's also a full-grown adult. And of course, TikTok's about Brendan Fraser being a gem and must be protected at all costs.
Play underdogs. He doesn't play underdogs. Yeah. He plays champions that are overlooked. Ooh!
Further proof that Brendan Fraser must be protected at all costs.
Even somebody made a TikTok jokingly that reads every interview with Brendan Fraser for The Whale where they treat him like a toddler for some reason. With the caption, he's a great actor, can they stop treating him like a Make-A-Wish kid?
Brendan, it's so good to see you. It's so good to have you back. Where were you? Where were you, big guy?
Other Twitter users are vocal about their distaste for this infantilization. The way the internet talks about Brendan Fraser is like he's a dying Make-A-Wish kid who got the chance to be in movies again is very weird. I'm sorry, but the way people are coddling and infantilizing Brendan Fraser, notice how instead of actually addressing how he was sexually assaulted and blacklisted, Hollywood is just praising him for a fat suit role. It's so pathetic. He deserves more than this surface level praise. I understand the infantilization of Brendan Fraser's takes, honestly. It feels like a lot of these posts I see about him are just a picture of him posing awkwardly with the caption like he's so precious. While someone else wrote, what's with everyone treating Brendan Fraser like a child? He's a grown man that's been through some shit and deserves to be listened to and given respect. It's kind of weird to infantilize him though. And I don't think that a lot of these people are having like malicious intent when they are making these videos. I think they genuinely do admire this person's work. However, how we treat male celebrities versus female celebrities, it does affect us in the long term because it then affects how we treat men in our everyday lives. Of course, it's not just celebrities who are getting infantilized as well. Something that I've seen as more of a topic recently is actually the infantilization of the elderly. I remember I could not fucking stand when I saw full-grown adults speaking to their grandparents as if they were children. And I didn't understand why it bothered me so bad. And it's because I speak to my grandparents with respect because they're human beings. It's even frowned upon now to baby talk to babies because they actually develop better when you just speak to them like an adult. If I meet your baby in person, I'm talking to them about the infantilization of male celebrities. And I'm gonna ask them for their opinion on it. And I'm sure that their vocabulary and pronunciation is gonna be absolutely beautiful. One study suggests that infantilizing the elderly can be seen as a form of psychological mistreatment. There's an actual term for the childish and patronizing way people speak to senior citizens, which is called elder speak. As one HuffPost writer puts it, people seem to think that they're honoring older adults by treating them as mascots. Many videos on social media feature adults who are adorable or precious, dancing, singing, or doing other activities they have no doubt done for their entire lives. Videos are presented with the exact same attitude behind videos of kittens, puppies, and babies. Samuel Johnson once said, "A woman's preaching is like a dog's walking on its hind legs. It is not done well, but you are surprised to find it done at all." Videos of the elderly seem to take the same attitude. It is amazing that older people might still do these things that they love. If they make the attempt to engage in activities that make them happy, they are so cute. Which of course I think that a lot of these TikToks are very endearing and sweet as well, like as a human experience, but a lot of it is also just recording people without them even knowing that they're being recorded. Hey, why are we recording random strangers out in public? Why are we recording the elderly for 500,000 likes? Okay.
Okay, so at what point are we going to stop infantilizing old people like they haven't been around for 80 years? We treat them like they're babies, like they don't know how to grow and expand as people.
Another one said, no one talks about it. Like, no one talks about the fact that old people, specifically on this app, treated by younger people, are just treated like these random aliens. Bro, easy, easy.
He's been wearing the same boots since 1960. I think he's gonna survive having a viral video on a social media application on his iPhone.
Which then brings me to my next point: unassuming and non-violent and safe men. There are none. I'm kidding. Usually these men that are infantilized are also to be considered as the safe men. Safe men. But what does it mean to be a safe man? Redditors think the way that they speak about and to women, the way that they behave when they think no one's watching, the people they surround themselves with, the political and social beliefs they espouse, the energy they bring to emotionally difficult or otherwise scary situations, basically the way they treat people who are more weaker or more vulnerable than themselves. In my opinion, it has absolutely nothing to do with appearance. All it comes down to is that men treat women as other people first. We both have noticed that so many men are just weird around women, even when they don't want to hook up with a woman. They aggressively compete with other men for a woman's attention, or they go over the top making a show about how feminist they are. They treat women like the other that needs to be courted or protected or whatever other thing they have in their head that women need. You give off the vibe that you will respect a no and aren't going to rape anyone. Probably you seem like an empathetic person who sees women as likable individuals rather than bodies to fantasize about and use. TikTok has also given us an idea of what safe men means. This is most often done in a trend where men are walking past a woman in the dark, but dropping hints that they are gay or feminine, have feminine and effeminate traits, or that they're woke to convince them that they're not actually a threat.
Is that Lincoln Park after dark? Slay, bitch. Camp Rock. Oh, well, I'll get you some flowers, my little snookums. On the phone with my wife, because I'm married. Anywho, I'll be home when it's Jeff, Buttercup.
I myself have had a list of safe men in my mind. This was actually something that I worked on a lot when I was in exposure therapy. There was times where I had to pick fights with men or look men in the eyes in public, like total strangers, because it was extremely hard for me to do those things if they were not on my safe man list. Here are the things that I have learned since doing that. I'm able to fight with a lot of men now recently, and it sure is a lot of fun. I can make better eye contact with strangers in public. I don't love doing it, but I do it. And also, some of the men that were on my safe list are no longer on there anymore. All right, Nicole, let's be real. Did I have to boot some men off of my safe men list? Yes. Have more men been added to the safe man list in this past year? Yeah. And for that, I'm grateful. There's not a whole lot of men that I feel comfortable or safe around or who I think are really good people, but I really do love the ones that I do have in my life. And if you get booted off the list, then you are unfortunately dead to me. So I'm not kidding. Ironically, given the anxiety memes about Pedro Pascal, he is actually a good example of a high-profile man who makes other women feel safe. You will often see a lot of his coworkers being very, very comfortable with him, physically and also emotionally, because they're secure in the knowledge that he is not a threat. He treats women with respect. He's an ally for causes like trans rights. And let's admit it, we do see Pedro Pascal as more flamboyant. In an article for El País, Valerie May says he relates as equals, and there is no greater place of freedom than that in which the other treats you as an equal. Similar, El País wrote, experts agree that the phenomenon surrounding the Chilean actor is rooted in a model of masculinity championed by feminism and opposed by the manosphere. And as one Twitter user puts it, Pedro Pascal is physically affectionate with the woman around him without sexualizing it. And most men just can't comprehend that because they sexualize every interaction they have with any women. And although Pedro Pascal has dealt with the whole daddy comments. That's daddy. That's Hollywood's daddy. He is not escaping the daddyism, but he is also not escaping the infantilizationism. Just infantilization. Even though Pedro Pascal is not going to be escaping daddyism anytime soon, he also cannot escape infantilization. This example shows that people don't infantilize men that they're scared of, only men that they feel completely secure with. However, it can be argued that some men, like Johnny Depp, rely on this infantilization to appear safe to the public and unthreatening towards women, and this is why infantilizing even these unassuming men can be dangerous. Sigmund Freud, you would have loved boy moms. I have dealt with a boy mom. It's been a while. Boy moms are mothers who are overly fixated on their sons, often prioritizing them over their other siblings and even their own partners. And a lot of boy mom content that is shown on TikTok is accused of endorsing emotional incest. WebMD's definition of emotional incest, according to Bowlby's attachment theory in psychology, the mother or the paternal figure most closely raising the child is responsible for providing the child with a secure attachment within the first 3 years of their life. When the child doesn't form any healthy attachment, they might struggle with relationships as an adult. When the parent-child bond is too anxious or too close, it can also cause problems for the child. It might result in enmeshment. Enmeshment means there are few or no boundaries between the people or in a relationship. Your problems become their problems, their hurts become your hurts, and so on. Parent-child duos locked in an emotionally incestuous relationship struggle with boundaries. The child grows up thinking that this lack of boundaries equates to love. The hashtag boymom hashtag is made up of 8.6 million videos. Some examples are of a fully grown 14-year-old boy cuddling in bed with his mom.
Be popular.
A woman having beef with her son's hypothetical romantic partner. A woman interrupting her son's dance with his fiance to lip sync the words, "Please don't be in love with someone else." Another argument is that infantilizing men means that they aren't held responsible for their actions. One TikToker jokes about being a toxic boy mom.
I never thought that I would be that toxic boy mom. He hits his sisters, he punches them. I'm like, maybe he's having a hard day.
This clip suggests that he is taught that there are no consequences for his actions, and that can shape how he treats women when he's older. As psychologist Dr. Tourney told Glamour, if a son is brought up being treated as extraordinarily special with few boundaries and limits, he is more likely to develop a sense of entitlement. This attitude can manifest as expecting undue attention and love in intimate relationships, potentially leading to challenges in maintaining reciprocal and balanced relationships. At first glance, this entitlement can appear as misogyny. However, it's more rooted in narcissism. 2010 survey by NetMoms found, while one half of mothers knew it was wrong to treat girls and boys differently, nearly 9 in 10 believed parents do this. More than half of mothers found that it's easier to bond with their sons. Mothers are twice as likely to be critical of their daughters than their sons. More than 1 in 5 admit to letting their son get away with more, and more than 1 in 4 said that they love their sons differently to their daughters. And that's why cutting the shit out with the infantilization of male celebrities is so important to me, because it usually comes down to one thing, which is misogyny. As argued by Polyester and infantilizing male celebrities is wrong because it isn't just about the celebrities themselves. It also involves diminishing and attacking the women in their lives. Fans feel the need to protect their faves from the women around them who are seen as either manipulative girlfriends or false accusers. When fans continually defend their faves, they always couple it with directing abuse at women who don't deserve it. As previously mentioned, this applies to women like Kim Kardashian, Amber Heard, and Olivia Munn. Arguably, bashing women is our default state of mind. Like, we just can't help ourselves. Another further example, notorious Timothée Chalamet fan account Club Chalamet is constantly bashing Kylie Jenner, who is dating Timothée Chalamet. From the very moment that they got together, Club Chalamet implied that the sweet and innocent actor was coerced into a showmance by the predatory stalker Kylie and her media-savvy family. This is Kris Jenner's doing somehow.
But
she does not approve of Kylie.
She does not approve of Kylie. And she posted all of these stories of guys leaning away from a girl kissing them. Like being grossed out by a girl kissing them. Insinuating that's how Timothée would feel about Kylie. One thing needs to be made clear to Club Chalamet. Timothée Chalamet really likes and possibly loves, because they've been together for a few years now, Kylie Jenner. If she was a true fan of Timmy, wouldn't she be happy for him if he's happy?
And yes, maybe in that moment he wasn't like making out with her back, but like she was just giving him a little smoochy.
She was giving him a smooch. He was feeling the love. She gave him a smooch.
And with a mother knows best type of mentality, Club Chalamet's big argument is that they haven't even gone to Olive Garden together, despite it being Timothy's favorite. It may very well be infantilizing Timothée Chalamet from his agency, and painting Kylie as this predator is a lot easier than admitting that Club Chalamet herself doesn't know Timothée as well as she thinks she does, because she doesn't know him at all. Because if she were to do that, then everything that she knows would be called into question, and this parasocial veil would be basically burnt down. It's also worth noting that while Club Chalamet is in her 50s, this is classic pick-me girl behavior, which is also rooted in misogyny. Pick-me behavior is far from exclusive from Club Chalamet. You can find it on countless amount of fan subreddits, stan accounts on Twitter. Another obvious example, a video that I did more recently, is about Jelena, where fans are convinced that they know better who Justin is more compatible with, and that he should still be with Selena Gomez, because obviously Justin Bieber cannot make that decision himself as a grown adult. And this conviction empowers them to harass Hailey Bieber, even though she is his wife, because in their head, Justin is still this teenager that they grew up with, and this parasocialism feels very, very real to them. And this idea of fans knowing what's best goes back to that core maternal attitude, which again is rooted in misogyny. Polyester also knows that the phenomenon of trying to shield adult men from the real world didn't start with the rise of the modern day celebrity and online fandom. We've always seen it. From boy moms treating their grown sons like infants, women having to tackle weaponized incompetence, and the time-old tale of boys getting away with immature behavior at school because they develop later than girls. Ultimately, infantilizing celebrities is a far from new phenomenon. It's just a new way for these well-established gendered behavior patterns to play out. And I know, as a big fangirl myself of many celebrities, I need to get better about the way that I even infantilize my favorite male celebs. Should I be calling Joe Keery baby girl? No! 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 I recently told my friends that this 21-year-old actor feels like a son of mine, which, if you know anything about me, is a really bold claim to make, considering that I have this massive fear of pregnancy and having children and being a mother and blah, 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 blah. Who cares? What possesses me to feel these maternal instincts for a 21-year-old man I don't even know? This man is 4 years younger than me, and I'm like, I'm his mama. What the fuck, Nicole? What the fuck? But this video was also for me, okay? Because the call is coming from inside the house. What the fuck was I thinking? Anyway, I hope that you guys like this video. I want to do more video essays coming up and not only do chronically online girl videos as the main form of video essay. So if you like this video, please let me know by leaving a like, because it helps me out so much. Also, leave a comment what you thought. Do you struggle with infantilization? It's okay, this is a safe space. Make sure you subscribe if you want to be nasty. If not, you're disgusting. Also, make sure you have your bell notifications on so you know every single time I post, or else you are gross. Also, if you want to follow me on my other social media, Instagram, Twitter, Depop, Spotify, it's just at Nicole Rafiee. And if you want to follow me on my TikTok, it's at Nikki Nasty. I also have a podcast. Talk nasty to me. I have to go watch The Summer I Turned Pretty, where I will be infantilizing a full-grown man, fucking Conrad Fisher. Anyway, I'm not perfect. All right, goodbye.